Hello, friend. Welcome back to Breathe with Brie. Today I have a rather fulsome studio style class planned. This is something that I have actually taught in my classes here in the city where I live, in a hot studio that I teach at. The postures that we're going to be working through today are preparatory poses so that we're working towards Gomukhasana, cow face pose, which is a pose that we'll hold for a little bit longer near the end. And I'll put up an example of what that looks like here. So all the poses that we're going to be working on today are preparatory poses to sit in that sort of twisty chest opening, shoulder opening shape. So we may need a couple of props as well today. If you have a couple of blocks, it's going to be super handy, especially once we're sitting in Gomukhasana. Sometimes easier to lift the hips up by sitting on a block. We'll also use them as in the first couple of poses here as well. And then a strap or a tea towel, if you have one, just a little bit easier so that you can grab the tea towel behind your back just to help work towards getting those fingers together into that grip. If you don't have blocks, a bolster or a pillow will also be fine for these first couple of poses. Okay, so gather all of your stuff and then we'll get started in child's pose. And we'll use the blocks. So bring the blocks, or if you have the pillow or the bolster, you can just lay it across the front of your mat. And we're going to bring the blocks, whatever prop you have, underneath the elbows. So just making sure that your elbows are situated somewhere in the center of the block. So your knees are nice and wide, toes gently touching behind you. And we're coming into this child's pose, a sort of supported child's pose. This will provide you with more sensation through the shoulders. So as part of our grounding here, just letting gravity do the work, pulling you down into the mat, gently opening through the shoulders and the chest here. Your forehead can come down to the mat or another block or perhaps a pillow. Just think about sinking the hips back onto the heels. Starting to come into your breath here as we prepare for our practice. And just start to lengthen your breath. Long inhales and exhales through the nose. Today's practice will be more of a Vinyasa flow style practice. So we're going to be building quite a bit of heat, connecting our breath to our movement. So just beginning to find that breath, scanning the body for any areas of tension that you may be holding. Start to breathe a little bit deeper into the belly here. Expanding the belly into the lower lungs. Let's take a couple more big belly breaths like that. Nice and long, nourishing inhale. Release on the exhale. One more. Okay, option to stay here. I know this is a long time to hold a child's pose, so if you need to come out, give your legs a little wiggle, a little bit of relief, please feel free to do that. If you'd like, you can also come into a little bit more of a shoulder chest opener. Bring the palms together and then bending the elbows and bringing your thumbs to the nape of your neck. And then think about pressing down into the armpits. This is a rather big opening If this doesn't feel good, just come on out. Just a couple of breaths here. And then lengthen the arms. Start to come up. Remove the blocks or the prop, whatever you're using. We'll come into a tabletop. So we'll bring the shoulders over top of the wrists, hips are over top of the knees. And then keeping the hips nice and high over top of the knees, we're just going to crawl the hands forward, just the hands. We'll come into puppy. So just starting to come down, bring the chest to the mat, armpits down, forehead down. If you'd like to bring a block underneath your forehead, you can. Just another large opening into the shoulders, the chest, back. Perhaps if you're feeling open enough, you can work towards bringing the chin to the mat. It's pretty early in the morning here for me, so I'm not quite open enough for that one yet. Just checking in with your body, taking what you need, breathing through the sensation. One more breath. And then we'll press up and we'll come back into a tabletop. We'll cycle through a few cat-cows. So bring your shoulders over top of your wrists once more. As you inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze. Exhale, rounding through the spine, tuck the chin, really press into the hands, gaze towards your thighs. Inhale, belly drops, gaze lifts, arching the back. Exhale, rounding through the spine. So let's do a few more just like that. Inhales and exhales to guide your movement. Two more. Creating that nice mobility through the spine. Okay, and then we'll just come into a tabletop, holding here. And start to engage through your core. So that might look like visualizing bringing your belly button up into your spine. Start to engage through that midsection, maybe even pressing into the hands a little bit. So finding some pressure underneath the fingertips. And then we're going to bring the right leg out to the side. So the knee is going to come out to the side. Now don't worry about how high up that knee comes. Focusing more on keeping a nice level lower back, engaging through the core. And then nice and slowly, just moving the leg, bring your knee forward to tap that right tricep. And then slowly bring the knee back and behind that left leg. So tap to the outside of that left calf. Inhale, come forward, tap the tricep, and then back and behind. So this just setting us up for that Gomukhasana shape that we're going to be working towards near the end of our practice here. So a few more just like that. Using your own breath to guide these movements nice and slow, and think about just moving the leg. So the rest of the body is not compensating to lift that leg. Using the strength in the glute, the inner thigh, deep breath. And then the next time your leg comes out to the side, hold, and then kick that right leg out and plant the right foot down. So we're going to be coming into our gate pose. Toes are facing forward, right toes are facing forward. Your heel and your knee are in alignment. And then we'll just bring the arms up, body up. And then right hand is going to come down, left hand over. So we're nice long side body stretch on the left side of the body here. Sink a little bit deeper and think about pressing the hips out, pressing the hips forward, keeping nice and open in that front side body. Left shoulder is back, almost like you could peek up underneath that armpit. Sink a little bit lower. And then inhale, reach up, look up. And then we'll bring the hands down and we'll sink back onto that left heel, coming into this modified child's pose. And only come as deep as you'd like. You can stay here up high. Maybe you turn those right toes up towards the sky. Maybe you come all the way forward, reaching forward, finding that half child's pose. Breathe. Inhale brings you back up. And then we'll just land in that tabletop together. Maybe cycling through another couple cat-cows here just to get those wiggles out through the spine. And we'll move over to the other side. So this time we're engaging through the core, just like before, pressing a little bit into the hands, lift up the left knee out to the side, and just hold. Try not to lift it up super high, keeping the integrity in that lower back. And then nice and slowly come forward, tap that left tricep or elbow. Come back, reach around, tap to the mat on the right side of that right calf. Let's use your breath back and forth between those two shapes and move slower than you want. Still maintaining that nice tight core, protecting the lower back, finding the integrity in the lower back and breathing through these movements. Deep breath. And then the next time your knee comes out to the side, hold. And then we'll just kick that left leg out. Left toes facing forward this time. Arms extend high, finding our gate. Left hand down, right arm over. So find that nice long right side body stretch. Pushing the hips forward, maybe even squeezing those glutes a little bit. Still maintaining a lot of strength. And keeping that chest nice and open. So maybe rolling that right shoulder back. You can almost peek up underneath the armpit. Exhale brings you a little bit further. Press that right hip out towards the right. Inhale, reach up, look up. And exhale, come back into that half child. So maybe you stay up high here. Maybe you turn those left toes up towards the sky. Could come down. Just noticing the differences between the two sides. I'm a little bit more tight on my left side than I am on my right. So I'm just modifying to suit that. Listening to your body at all times. Inhale brings you back up. And we'll just land together back into that tabletop. Cycle through a couple of cat-cows, perhaps. And then we are going to tuck the toes, send the hips up and back, and find a downward facing dog. So maybe a nice deep bend in this first down dog. Bend the knees. Drop one heel and then the other, walking the dog. Spread your fingertips really wide. Deep breath. Focusing more on a long spine than straight legs. Thinking about our puppy pose, bringing the armpits towards the thighs. So the upper body towards the thighs. Head's nice and loose. And then we'll move through 2 sun salutations together. So we'll just look to the hands and then we'll tiptoe up to the top of the mat. Forward fold at the top of your mat. Inhale to find a halfway lift. Bring your palms to your shins. Nice flat back. Gaze is straight down towards the earth. And we'll just work on a little bit of an alignment here. Bring your toes together to touch. Heels are slightly apart. Engage through the core. So bring that belly button back up into your spine. Lots of intensity here. And then experiment with leaning a little bit forward, bringing the weight into the toes. See how that changes the sensation. See which muscles need to turn on and fire up. Now start to lean back a little bit into the heels and see how that changes things, keeping the integrity in the core. Now bring the weight perfectly middle, perfectly center in the feet. Press down through all the corners of the feet. And then exhale, forward fold. As you inhale, stand all the way up, stand tall, hands up, palms together, gaze up. And then dive forward, bring your hands through heart center, coming back into a forward fold. Inhale, find another halfway lift. And then exhale to plant the hands, step back and landing in a high plank here. Spread the fingertips really nice and wide. Hips are low. Core is engaged. Start to come forward. Bring the shoulders past the fingertips. You're on the very tippy toes. Bending your elbows. Finding a hover. Inhale through upward facing dog. So flipping the toes. Your legs are lifted. Gaze can be forward or slightly up. And then exhale back, downward facing dog. Okay, so that's our vinyasa. We'll actually do 2 more all together now. Look to the hands, jump, step, or hop to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep your arms all the way up, look up. Hands through heart center, dive forward. Inhale, find that halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step back, high plank. Now dropping the knees is always an option. Maybe you're in your high plank, lower down to a hover, or you lower down to the belly. Inhale through cobra or upward facing dog. And then exhale back, downward facing dog. So let's do 1 more, just like that. Look to the hands, jump, step, or hop, top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep the arms all the way up, stand tall, look up, palms together, maybe back bend. Hands through heart center, dive forward. Inhale, find that halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step back, high plank. Maybe drop the knees, lower down to the belly or a hover. Inhale through your upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Just pause here. Notice the heat that's being built in your body, that connection to breath and movement. Look to the hands and we'll just step up to the top of the mat, forward fold. Once more, bringing your toes together to touch, your heels are slightly out, bend your knees like you're sitting down into a chair. Press into the feet, lift the arms up. So we're landing in our chair here. Few options for the arms. You can have your arms straight up. Biceps are by your ears. Maybe bring your hands through heart center, a little bit of relief for the shoulders. You can grab for your arms or opposite shoulders. Sit a little bit lower. Deep breath. Shift your weight into your left foot. Stay nice and low. Step back, finding a crescent lunge. Arms extend high, so you're high up on those back toes. Nice deep bend in that front knee. Now notice if you're dumping into the lower back, keep a little bit of integrity in that lower belly, tucking the tailbone, and then sinking a little bit lower. Now you don't have to go as low as long as you're keeping the integrity in the lower back, super important. Holding here. Begin to cactus the arms. Again, watch the lower back that you're not swaying through the back. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Deep breath. Inhale, arms extend high, and then we're going to drop that right heel down, open up into a warrior 2. So reaching for the front and back of your room, wherever you are. Notice if you're leaning forward or leaning back. You're going to want to bring your head, your heart, and your hips all into a line. And then we're going to reverse our warrior, flip the front palm, reach back. Now, normally we would just reach back, but this time we're going to bend that left elbow and we're going to come into this tricep stretch. So this is also another preparatory pose for our Gomukhasana. Warrior 2. And then we're going to windmill the hands towards the back of your mat. Turn all 10 toes towards the back, plant the hands, drop the left knee down, low lunge. So think about sinking into that left hip flexor, keeping the chest nice and proud. And then we'll begin to straighten through that front leg. So we're finding a half splits here. If you have your blocks or any other props nearby, super handy to bring that floor just a little bit closer to you. Really helpful to keep a lot of integrity and height through the upper body and allows you to bring that right hip a little bit back, left hip forward, flexing through those right toes. Every exhale brings you a little bit further, lengthening through the back of that right leg. Re-bend through that front knee. Coming back into that low lunge. Hands frame the front foot. Tuck the back toes, lift the back knee. And we're just going to send that right leg up and back, three-legged dog. And then we'll bend through that right knee coming into fire hydrant. So we're opening through the hips. But we're keeping that right shoulder, right armpit down towards the earth. Inhale, come forward, bring the knee towards your nose. And then we're going to kick that right leg out, coming onto the knife edge of that right foot. Drop that left heel down, fallen star. So we're reaching up, maybe over. Deep breath. And then nice and slowly, we're just going to come down to sit. We're landing in this straddle. Maybe if you have your block nearby, you can bring your forearms down to it. Just a little opening through that inner thigh, those inner thighs. Deep breath. All right, we'll bring that upper body up, bending the knees. We can just cross the ankles and come back. Cycle through a vinyasa if you'd like. And we'll meet in downward facing dog. Pedaling through the legs, getting a couple of those wiggles out. And then we'll move through the other side. So look to the hands, step to the top, forward fold. Toes touching, heels slightly apart, big bend into the knees like you're sitting into a chair, then reach up. In your chair pose, weight is in your heels. You should be able to see and wiggle those toes. Again, any arm variation that works for you, palms at heart center perhaps. Sink a little bit lower, engage through those glutes. Shift the weight into the right foot, send that left leg back, finding that crescent lunge, arms extend high. Again, noticing that sway back. If you're dumping into the lower back, just coming up, bring a little bit of height out of your lunge, tucking that tailbone, engaging through the core, and then maybe sinking a little bit lower. Deep breath. Hands through heart center, drop that left heel down. We're coming into that warrior 2. Reaching for the front and back of your space. Head, heart, and hips all in a line. Squeeze the shoulder blades together behind you, nice and strong. Press down. Bending through that front knee. Flip the front palm and reach back. And then we're just going to bend that right elbow, grabbing that elbow with the left hand. Inhale back through that warrior two. And then we'll windmill the hands back all the way to the back of the mat, landing in that low lunge. Dropping that right knee down. Keeping that chest up nice and proud, sinking into the hips. So finding length into that right hip flexor. Straighten through that left leg, finding your half splits. Grabbing your blocks if you need, just knowing that it's always okay to just come out of any pose. It doesn't have to be perfect so that you can get your props, your blocks, whatever you need. Left toes facing up towards the sky. All right, re-bend into that left knee. Tuck the back toes, lift the back knee. Send that left leg up and back. Find your three-leg dog. And then bend through that left knee. Send the knee to the sky. Left heel towards your butt. Towards those glutes. Left shoulder down. Deep breath. Nice and slow. Start to bring that knee towards the nose. Come forward almost like a plank and then kick that left leg out. Drop the right heel down. Reaching up with that right hand, maybe over. Send the hips up high. And then nice and slowly come down, find that straddle. Reaching forward, opening through the inner thighs, the hamstrings, lengthening through the lower back. Deep breath here. Inhale brings you back up. Bend the knees. Crossing those ankles. Optional vinyasa. And we'll meet in downward facing dog. Deep breath here. Look to the hands. Step to the top of your mat. Forward fold. Toes touching, heels slightly apart. Bend deep into your chair, reaching up, finding that chair. Deep breath. And we're going to find eagle arms here. So we're going to wrap the right arm underneath the left and crossing around to grab the palms, maybe opposite shoulders. And we're just going to shift the weight into the left foot and we're going to come into a warrior three. So we're just going to extend that right leg behind. We're balancing. Deep breath. Even if that foot just comes 1 inch off the mat, that's more than enough. Just working your way towards lifting that right leg higher. And then we're going to come into a few Shiva squats, very similar leg position to our Gomukhasana. So we're just going to start to bend through both knees, bringing that right knee to the left calf, pressing it up. 2 more. Last one. Hold. And then find a forward fold. Deep breath. This time we'll separate the feet hip width distance. We'll just come into a little ragdoll, a little bit of a rest, grabbing for opposite elbows perhaps. Maybe a nice deep bend in the knees. All right, release the grip. Halfway lift. Bringing your feet together, toes touch, heels slightly apart. Bend deep into the knees, reaching up, finding that chair. Weight is in the heels, engaging through the glutes. We're going to find those eagle arms, left arm this time underneath the right. We're grabbing for your shoulders, shifting the weight into the right foot. Send that left leg back, finding your warrior three. Keeping those eagle arms. And then nice and slowly coming into your Shiva squat. So bending both knees, bringing that left knee to the right calf, pressing it up. 2 more. Hold. And forward fold. And from here, we'll separate the feet out to the width of your mat, toes facing out, and we'll just sink down into our yogi squat. So option 2, have a block underneath your sit bone if you'd like for a little bit more support. Pressing the hands together, pressing the knees apart. Deep breath. Opening through the inside of those legs. Chest is nice and proud. Deep breath. And then from here, we're finally going to come into our Gomukhasana. Just come to sit down. So making sure you have your block nearby, strap or tea towel, whatever props that you would like. And we'll just bring the legs out straight. Remove the sit bones. Or sit harder down onto the sit bones. And then we're going to bend through that right leg and we're going to cross it over the left. Bending the left leg, bringing it out to the side, and then we're just going to heel toe the feet sideways until your knees are stacked. Now you can bring your heels nice and close to the body. Again, bringing that block underneath your sit bones to sit on a block. Really handy to bring the floor a little bit farther away. Give you some space for those hips. And then we have our right leg on top. So we're going to bring our right arm up and we're going to bend it behind. And a couple of options, you can either reach up and just do that similar tricep stretch, pulling the right arm, or you can reach behind you, reaching up for those right fingertips. And this is where your strap is going to be really handy. Just draping that strap, grabbing for the strap, and then slowly working towards bringing those fingertips a little bit closer together so that right elbow is facing straight up, proud through the chest, sitting up nice and tall. And once you've found your shape, find stillness. Breathe. Noticing where you're feeling the sensation. Breathing through that sensation. Now, if you feel pain or tingling or any major discomfort, just relax out of the posture or come out of it fully. But if you're just feeling a little bit uncomfortable, I'd encourage you to breathe through that discomfort. Finding length. Sit a little bit taller once more. And nice and gently, with control, begin to release. Setting your props to the side. Just leaning back and unraveling the legs, bringing the soles of the feet to the mat, and just drop the knees side to side. Might feel nice just to do this little windshield wiper action, just to bring a little bit of blood flow back into the hips, into the knees. It's pretty twisty, pretty compressive through that posture. All right, and then we'll come up and we'll move over to the other side. So legs come straight out, bending through that left knee, crossing the left leg over, bend your right knee, and just heel toe the feet until you're in a position that feels comfortable for you. As best you can, stacking your knees on top of each other. Again, grabbing a block for under your sit bones. You can also place a blanket under your ankles if this is feeling a little uncomfortable. Left arm up, bend, maybe grabbing for that tricep. Otherwise, grabbing your strap. Or maybe you're just grabbing the hands, getting that grip. Deep breath. Chest is nice and proud. Grow a little bit taller. Notice where you're feeling the sensation. Breathing there. Again, noticing if you have some discomfort. Just trying to breathe through that discomfort. Now, if it's pain, if it's tingling, if you're just sick of the pose, come on out. No pressure. Two more breaths. All right, with control, begin to release. Unraveling those legs, soles of the feet to the mat. Dropping those knees side to side. Deep breath. All right, and then we'll just come up, and from here we're going to come to lay down. If you would like to bring a blanket with you or socks or anything to make yourself more comfortable for your final Shavasana, bring that with you. We are going to do one pose on our backs just before we settle into our final Shavasana. So just come to lay down. Soles of the feet to the mat. Arms out to the side. Just feel the weight of your body on the mat. And then we're just gonna cross the left leg over the right, kind of like you're sitting in a chair. So left leg crossed over the right. And then we're just gonna drop the knees to the right, coming into this twisted roots variation. Now, if this doesn't feel good for you, you can just stack the knees on top of each other, maybe a block in between the knees or under the knees. Whatever variation is feeling good for you. Left arm out to the side. Maybe the gaze follows. Closing down the eyes and breathing into this twist. Perhaps finding a couple of nice deep belly breaths here. Nice. And slowly begin to unravel, bringing the knees back up through center, uncrossing the legs if they were crossed. Just realigning your hips and your body into the center of the mat if you shifted. And then we'll switch over to the other side. So cross that right leg over the left, just like you're sitting in a chair. And then we'll drop the knees to the left. Maybe your left hand comes to that right knee, helping to guide your legs into the twist. Right arm could come out to the side. Maybe the gaze follows. Just an option. Deep breath. Finding those belly breaths. Nice. And slowly begin to unravel. Bring the knees back through center. Realign your hips on the mat. And then we'll just bring the knees into the chest. Give yourself a little hug. Maybe a little rock side to side. Just releasing through that lower back. And on your inhale, curling up into a really tight ball. Bring the forehead up towards the knees. And as you exhale, open up, taking up space into your final Shavasana. Just coming to lay down on your mat. Finding that breath, that release. Shavasana, super important part of your practice. This is where the integration of everything that you just did happens. So we'll be here on the mat, knowing that there's nowhere else to be, nothing else to do in this moment than just be here. Just letting go of any to-do lists, any thoughts, anything that might be dragging you off your mat in this moment, and just be here in this moment of stillness. nice and slowly begin to deepen your breath. Gentle inhales and exhales through the nose. Start to move a little bit through the fingers and the toes, finding that little wiggle. Roll through the wrists and the ankles. And then nice and slowly on an inhale, bringing the arms up overhead, point the toes, get really nice and long. Finding that big good morning, good evening, good afternoon stretch. And then nice and gently starting to press yourself up into a comfortable seat, maybe rolling off to one side first. We'll just come into this cross-legged position and close together. Bring your hands through heart center. Shoulders down and back, eyes closed, or soften the gaze. Just take a moment to check in. Notice how you're feeling now that your practice is complete. And take note of what you can take with you into the rest of your day and what you can leave right here on the mat. And together we'll take a slight bow, a bow of gratitude. Gratitude for the space that you are in that is holding you today. Gratitude for this community, this beautiful online community that has brought us together. So much gratitude for our bodies that moved us today. And gratitude for the ancient practice of yoga that brought us together today. And as always, from my heart to yours, thank you so much for joining me, for trusting me with your practice, for moving your body. Thank you so much for joining me. And if you liked your class today, make sure you comment, let me know how it was. Make sure you subscribe, like this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.